Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just playing some Roblox right now, nothing crazy, just chillin'. And while I play, I want to read a real story that honestly made me pause for a second. This one is about online boundaries, trust, and that moment where you start asking yourself, am I actually overreacting or is something not right here? All right, let's jump into it. So, this guy says he's been dating his girlfriend for a little over a year. They met through mutual friends, things moved slow, and overall the relationship has been pretty healthy. No cheating history, no big arguments, no toxic stuff. They both game a lot, they're both online a lot, and he says from day one he made it clear he's not the jealous type. He doesn't check phones, doesn't read messages, doesn't care who she follows. His mindset was basically, if I trust you, I trust you. And honestly, that sounds pretty mature. One night, they're just hanging out together, and he notices her phone keeps lighting up, like every few seconds. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He doesn't say anything at first, but eventually he jokingly asks, "Yo, who's blowing up your phone like that?" She laughs it off and says it's just a guy friend she met online through a game. At first, he's cool with it, but then she casually mentions they talk pretty much every day. That's when his vibe shifts a little. Because daily texting isn't just casual anymore. That's a routine. Over the next few days, he starts noticing patterns. Late night messages, long conversations, laughing at her phone while he's sitting right there. Eventually, he finds out the conversations aren't just about games. They're talking about personal stuff, stress, relationships, life problems, and yeah, selfies too. Nothing straight up flirty, but definitely emotional. So he does the adult thing and brings it up calmly. He tells her, "I'm not mad, this just makes me uncomfortable." And her response? She immediately shuts him down. She tells him he's overreacting, says he's being insecure, says, "He's just a friend, why are you acting weird?" That hits hard because he's never been called insecure before. He starts questioning himself. A few days later, though, he notices something that completely changes everything. Parts of the chat are gone, messages deleted. And at that moment, his trust just drops. Because if there's nothing wrong, why delete anything? He confronts her again and says, "If I was doing this with another girl, you wouldn't be okay with it either." She gets defensive, calls him controlling, says he's trying to police her friendships. Now he's stuck in his head thinking, is this really about jealousy or is this about respect? He's considering breaking up, not because she cheated, but because the trust feels gone. Honestly, this isn't about being insecure. Deleting messages is a red flag. Dismissing your partner's feelings instead of listening, another red flag. In my opinion, he's not overreacting at all. But I'm curious what you think. Was he tripping, or was this already crossing the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've got your own story, I might read it in the next video.
This one's about friendship, boundaries, and that moment when you finally snap after holding things in for way too long. So yeah, let's get into it. So this guy says he's had the same best friend for almost 10 years. They met back in school, grew up together, gamed together, went through breakups together, the whole thing. He describes himself as the chill friend, the one who avoids drama, the one who lets stuff slide to keep the peace. And his friend? Complete opposite. Loud, opinionated, always right, always needs to be the center of attention. But for years he told himself that's just how he is. Over time, though, things started adding up. His friend constantly talks over him, makes jokes at his expense in front of others, downplays his achievements. And anytime he tries to bring something up, the friend brushes it off with, "Bro, you're being too sensitive." At first, he laughs it off. Then he ignores it. Then he starts feeling it. But he never says anything because he doesn't want to lose a long-term friendship. The real issue comes when they start gaming together more often. Anytime the guy makes a mistake, his friend roasts him hard, calls him trash, mocks him on voice chat. But when the roles are reversed, total silence. And it's not just in games. In real life, the friend cancels plans last minute, shows up late, only hits him up when he needs something. and still he puts up with it. One night they're playing online with a group of people. The friend starts making jokes, not playful ones, personal ones. Stuff about his job, his past relationship, things he trusted him with. Everyone laughs awkwardly. That's when something just snaps. He tells his friend calmly at first, "Yo, can you chill? That's not cool." Instead of apologizing, the friend laughs and says, "Relax, man, it's just a joke." And yeah, that's when he loses it. He finally says everything he's been holding in for years. He tells him he's tired of being disrespected, tired of being the punchline, tired of feeling small just to keep a friendship alive. The call goes dead silent. Then the friend fires back, saying he's overreacting, says he's always been soft, says if you can't handle jokes, that's on you. At that point, he leaves the call. They don't talk for days. Mutual friends start messaging him saying he went too far, that he embarrassed his friend, that he should have handled it privately. Now he's sitting there feeling guilty. He starts wondering if he ruined a 10-year friendship over one bad moment, or if he finally stood up for himself. So he posts online asking, "AITA for finally snapping at my friend after years of putting up with this." Honestly, this isn't about one joke. This is about years of disrespect stacking up. If someone keeps crossing your boundaries and calls it just a joke, that's not humor, that's a lack of respect. In my opinion, snapping doesn't make him the bad guy, it makes him human. But what do you think? Did he take it too far, or was it overdue? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've got your own story, I might read it in the next video.
All right, let's get into the next story. I'm still just chilling in Roblox, and this one honestly feels unsettling in a quiet way. It's about trust, long-term friendship, and that weird moment when things stop adding up. So yeah, here's the story. So this guy says he's been best friends with the same person since middle school. They've been close for over a decade, gaming together, road trips, late-night talks, all that. He describes their friendship as solid, like no secrets, no drama, no weird vibes. They're the type of friends who know each other's families, passwords, schedules, everything, which is why what happened next completely threw him off. A few months ago, he starts noticing small inconsistencies. Nothing major at first, just little things. His friend says he's working late, but he's online gaming. Says he can't hang out because he's broke, but then posts stories eating out. Mentions events he supposedly never went to, but somehow knows a lot about. At first, he shrugs it off. Everyone exaggerates sometimes, right? But the lies keep stacking up. Then the friend starts being weirdly defensive. If he asks a normal question, the friend snaps back with, "Why are you interrogating me?" Which is wild because he's never questioned anything before. On top of that, the friend starts disappearing for days at a time. No replies, no calls, nothing. Then suddenly he'll come back like nothing happened. And every time there's a different explanation. One night while gaming together, the friend accidentally lets something slip. He mentions a place he supposedly hasn't been to in years, but talks about it like he was just there. When confronted, he backtracks immediately, says he misspoke, changes the subject. That's when the guy starts replaying everything in his head. The lies, the disappearances, the defensiveness. And he realizes this isn't random. It feels intentional. Now he's stuck wondering if his best friend is hiding something serious. Not just small stuff, something big. Is it financial trouble, legal issues, another life he doesn't know about? He wants to ask directly, but he's scared of the answer, because once you confront someone, the friendship might never be the same. And if he's wrong, he risks accusing his best friend of lying for no reason. He says the hardest part isn't the lying, it's the feeling of being shut out, of realizing the person he trusts most might not trust him back. He starts questioning everything, every story, every excuse, and he hates that he's doing this. He misses when things were simple. So he posts online asking for advice, basically saying, "I think my best friend has been lying to me about something serious. Do I confront him or let it go?" Honestly, this one's tough. Constant lying, even about small things, usually means there's something bigger underneath. You're not crazy for noticing patterns, and you're not wrong for wanting honesty from someone that close. In my opinion, a calm conversation is better than letting paranoia eat you alive. But what do you think? Is he overthinking it, or is his gut trying to tell him something? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, moving on to the next one. I'm still just playing Roblox kind of on autopilot right now, and this story is one of those that makes you sit back and think, yeah, I've seen this coming, but I ignored it. This one's about meeting someone online, missing every red flag and realizing way too late that your gut was right the whole time. So yeah, here's the story. So this guy says he met someone online through a gaming community. They didn't meet on a dating app or anything, just mutual servers, late night games, random voice chats. At first, everything felt normal. They joked around, talked about games, life, work, stress, nothing weird. Eventually, they started talking every day. Morning messages, late night calls, the kind of conversations that slowly turn into a routine. He admits he got attached faster than he should have, but he figured, what's the harm? Looking back, the red flags were definitely there. The person avoided video calls, always had an excuse, bad camera, bad lighting, not feeling well. They were vague about their personal life, no last name, no real photos, very few details about friends or family. Anytime he asked deeper questions, they'd dodge them or change the subject. But instead of questioning it, he told himself he was being paranoid. Over time, the conversations got deeper. They started talking about trauma, mental health, past relationships. The person would vent constantly. Bad days, bad luck, always something going wrong. And he became their emotional support. He'd stay up late listening, offer advice, reassure them. At some point, it stopped feeling like a friendship and started feeling like responsibility. But he didn't want to abandon someone who clearly needed help. Then, one night, the conversation shifted. The person casually mentions they're in a tough spot financially. Nothing dramatic at first, just complaining. A few days later, it turns into hints. Bills piling up, unexpected expenses, no one else to rely on. Eventually, they straight up ask for help. Not a lot, they say, just temporary, just until things get better. And yeah, against his better judgment, he sends money. After that, things change. The messages feel forced, the replies slow down, the warmth disappears. Anytime he asks how they're doing, the answers are short. Then another problem comes up, another emergency, another reason they need help. That's when it hits him. This isn't bad luck, this is a pattern. When he pushes back and asks for proof, they get defensive, accuse him of not trusting them, say he's being cold. So he does what he should have done from the start. He reverse searches the photos they sent. And surprise, they're not real. They belong to someone else entirely. Different name, different life. He confronts them immediately. At first, they deny it. Then they deflect. Then they disappear. Blocked everywhere. Just like that. He's left feeling embarrassed, angry at himself, and honestly, kind of stupid. Not just because of the money, but because he trusted someone who never really existed. He replays every conversation in his head, realizing how many chances he gave them, how many red flags he ignored because he wanted to believe the best in someone. So he posts online saying, "Tifu by trusting someone I met online and ignoring the red flags." Honestly, stories like this happen way more than people admit. Wanting to trust someone doesn't make you weak, but ignoring patterns does make you vulnerable. In my opinion, this wasn't stupidity, it was misplaced empathy. But let me know what you think. Did he mess up, or did he just get taken advantage of? All right, let's move on to the final story.
All right, this is the last story for this video. I'm still just chilling in Roblox, and this one is heavy in a quiet way. It's about control, boundaries, and how one sentence can completely change how you see a relationship. So yeah, here's the story. So this woman explains that she's been in a relationship with her boyfriend for a little over 2 years. They met in college, moved in together after about a year, and overall things felt stable. Not perfect, but normal. She says they argued sometimes, but nothing serious. No cheating, no major trust issues. She describes herself as independent. She has her own friends, her own hobbies, and a pretty active social life. and up until this point, her boyfriend never had a problem with that. Things start changing slowly. Her boyfriend begins making small comments. Nothing aggressive, just subtle stuff, like asking who she's going out with, or joking about how often she's with her friends, or saying things like, "I just don't trust some of those people." At first, she brushes it off. She assumes he's just being protective. But over time, the comments turn into expectations. One night, after she tells him she's going out with friends, he gets quiet. Later, he sits her down and says they need to talk. That's when he drops it. He tells her that if she wants to stay in the relationship, she needs to distance herself from a few people, specifically some male friends he doesn't like. He frames it as a choice. He says, "I'm not telling you what to do, but I can't be with someone who prioritizes those friendships over us." She says the room went silent, because suddenly this isn't about one night out, it's about control. She tells him she feels uncomfortable, that she's never given him a reason not to trust her, that cutting off friends feels extreme. He responds by saying she's choosing them over him, that if she really cared, this wouldn't be a problem. And that's when she realizes something important. This isn't about safety, it's about ownership. She says she spent days going back and forth in her head, questioning herself. Was she being selfish? Was she not compromising enough? But then she imagined the future. What happens after this? More rules? More ultimatums? She starts noticing other things she ignored before. How he gets upset when plans change. How he shuts down during disagreements. How he always frames issues as her fault. And suddenly the relationship doesn't feel safe anymore. She sits him down and tells him she can't accept the ultimatum, that relationships shouldn't come with conditions that isolate you. He accuses her of not caring enough, says she's throwing everything away, and even though it hurts, she stands her ground. She chooses herself. The relationship ends that night. Honestly, ultimatums like this rarely come from a healthy place. Setting boundaries is normal. Trying to control someone's entire social life isn't. From the outside, it sounds like she made the right call, not because she didn't love him, but because love shouldn't come with threats. But what do you think? Was this a reasonable boundary or a massive red flag? Let me know in the comments.